So I just wanted to show what can happen when you use a screw in these, and basically you see all that mess there, that's basically metal filings. And here's the old pulley and the old screw it was running on. Don't know if you can see that great, but it's not good. The threads have flattened a bit where the bearing was running on it, and of course when you put it into a bearing there's much more play than there would when you use the proper thing, which is one of these shoulder bolt. I've got two. I've got one for there, one in there as well on that pulley. Let's just see if I can. This shoulder just goes in partially through this tubular piece, so it's properly supported. Then there's a nylock nut on the end. It's on just enough, it's just poking through the nylock part, so it should be fine. Obviously you've got to make sure this is running freely. You don't want to tighten this too much, it'll just pull these two things together and then it'll rub against the pulley and that can cause damage. But these things are not exactly cheap. I mean, you can buy them on Amazon, eBay, AliExpress, whatever. They're not cheap, they're really not cheap. But that's how you're supposed to run a bearing, is on the shoulder bolt, because the shoulder on that is 3mm and the thread is M3. Obviously M3 thread is smaller than a 3mm shoulder. You basically start off with, I think, 3.2mm on the shaft to cut 3mm threads. I think it's usually a bit more than 3mm. It depends what sizes, you know, it goes up. Like if you were doing a 5mm you might need 5.4mm, doing 8mm you might need 8.6, something like that. But yeah, I just wanted to show the proper way of doing it, and you can obviously see why loads of printer manufacturers use screws, because they're so fucking cheap. You know, it'll cost them, you know, a fair bit more to put the screws in, and they're just not going to do it. They're not. I mean, I was under the impression before, oh, it's fine, it works, no problem. I've run these for hours and hours, no problem. So I was ignorant to the fact, even though I was told by someone that you should do that, but at the time I looked before, they were expensive, and the time I bought them, now they're still expensive, but it's definitely worth it. And these will make the bearings in here last longer. Some people find they don't have a problem, other people find they have to replace them after so many months or something. So it's worth considering if you're going to run your printer for a long time. I mean, what happened with me is I was running a large print, this one in fact, and that was quite a few hours on that in, and it was going to be much bigger, but printer started to spaghetti because this basically fucked up. So you know, you don't want that. It's not worth the risk. You best spend some money, extra money on one of these, then you don't risk ruining the bearings in these pulleys.